There are some admin tools available through BMS. The first one here is the alarms page. This is just an overall summary of all the alarms that are currently active or have been active. There are 3 different alarm. If you heard that little beep, that means there's an active alarm right now. Basically, it's going to beep for every single bell that's active right here. So notice some of these alarms that we saw while we were going through the BMS are here. So the filter alarms on the ERV2 and 1, that kitchen exhaust fault, and the 2 boilers that were an alarm. Those alarms come here. The critical alarms go to the default page here, but the difference in the critical alarms is that these are the ones that get emailed out. So these are just your pumps, your chillers, your chilled water supply temp, which we were concerned about before. The major systems, if they fail, you get an alarm log sent here, and they email out. Any of these, let's look at this kitchen exhaust fault. If you double click on it, it can bring up this record here. It gives you a little more info on what's happening. The most important things here are the time. So this went into alarm at 8:54 a.m. yesterday. I guess anyone who gets the emails should have gotten an email from this. Is an active alarm. If we looked at an alarm that isn't active anymore, if you notice, the alarm came in here at this timestamp, but the last update was at 9:41. So this is actually when it went to normal. So there's just kind of different timestamps. It's not completely obvious which one's which, but this one's just happened before. I can see that this went into alarm at 12:34. Last update was 12:37. It's not an alarm right now, so this must be when it went out of alarm, and this is when it initially went into alarm. The critical alarms are sent to these people on this page here. So these are just recipients. Actually, some people from Shamit and a couple of they also get the alarms, but and PJ Kennedy. These are just the CAJ recipients. In the future we can eventually the other recipients once they're no longer associated with the The last one here is just this communication window. This kind of just, if we lose communication to any controller, and it gets sent to this log. Notice we have a few currently. You'll lose communication to any of these apartment fan coil units when someone turns off the disconnect switch. That's typically when we see communication loss on those. Otherwise, the alarms are just a good place to come and see when something when an event was triggered, how many different times that's happened. So actually, if you come over here, you can see that how many times each alarm has gone in and out of alarm. So actually had, some of the alarms has happened quite a bit, like this filter keeps going in and out of alarm. Again, like I said before about the filter, we were talking about the ERVs, that's just a factory device that we are wired onto, and that's the ERV manufacturer is, deeming that filter is not clean. Yeah, but that's about it for these alarms. There are a few exhaust fans tied into the BMS. 2 of them are down in the basement, EF2 and EF19. On the floor plan, they're represented just by the space temperature. So the exhaust fans are cooling for these spaces. So as the space temperature goes above set point, the cooling set point, the fans kick on. Both of these actually take you to the same graphic. We hit EF2 here. EF2 serves the transformer room down behind the trash compactor room, and EF19 serves the vault, or I guess the switchgear room, and then the EF19 serves the vault. They both do pretty much the same thing. They have a fan with an isolation damper that closes when the fan's not running. and an intake damper. And like I said, it's just cooling for the space. So when we're above this set point, 2 degrees or 5 it might be a 5-degree dead band actually on these because they're such a, we're not trying to do too tight of a control on them. We keep the fans on. We're monitoring the fan status, and if the fan doesn't come on within a certain amount of time, the fan, it'll go into alarm. We get that through the alarm system. The only 2 other exhaust fans tied in, well, there's the 2 for the ERVs, which are exhausting from the tenant apartments. And the only other 2 exhaust fans that have their fans with numbers associated with them are in these 2 rooms. So this is EF18 and EF6 has that space pressure control, and EF18 fan that serves this program space. Oh, and there's also the EF3, which is the kitchen exhaust. So those 5 exhaust fans are tied into the BMS. But otherwise, any other exhaust fan is just controlled locally through line voltage, like switch, and aren't actually tied in through this system. So you wouldn't get an alarm or anything not running. The schedule page, accessible right here through this schedule button here, basically defines when the public area, common area zones are occupied or unoccupied. This is the first floor office space, the common areas there, the second floor common area, the basement, and the lounges on the floors that have lounges. They all use a common schedule. I mean, that is, we have the ability to break that out more if needed, but currently that's how it is broken up. This tool is very easy to use. If you've used any other scheduler before, just drag and drop, kind of drag this event to change the time. So right now we're currently set to 5 a.m. to 11 p.m. for every day. Let's say we wanted to change Sunday to be a little later because people are sleeping in, and Sunday night people aren't staying up too late, so 9 o'clock you do that. And any changes that you make, you just have to save over here, hitting the save button. You can create a new event by just dragging and dropping like this, and if you right click on an event, you can delete that event. This is down here is where you specify if it's an occupied event or unoccupied event. The checkbox is kind of assuming it's on or off, so check is on, and if I uncheck it, it's off, and then it'll turn occupied. You can also come down here and manually input a specific time if the half-hour increments aren't good enough. Right click and apply a single event to Monday through Friday, or copy a day and paste it to a different day. So it's pretty user-friendly and easy to use. You can also add an event here. So say we had a specific event happening, or everyone needs to go down to the common room for 24 hours or something. You can come in here and say, well, tomorrow I can input a specific date here and say, well, I don't really have to say weekday because I'm just going to put in a specific date, which is the 19th of September 2018. I created this event, so that's tomorrow, and I'm going to, over here is what determines what's going to happen on that event. So I'm going to say the entire day we're occupied, so from 12 to 12. And I'm going to hit save. So now tomorrow we have this event in. I'm going to rename it to training event so we can see it in a moment. So now we have this training event specified, and there's other ways to specify things, like you can really break out the whole calendar just by using this kind of search tool. This custom option is honestly the most powerful. You can say, well, I want the 5th, so you can select, if you hold down control, you can select multiple things and say, well, I want the 5th, 6th, and 7th, and 8th of July on, but only if it's a Monday of, well, that doesn't really matter because I specified specific dates, but then also only in a specific year. So you kind of get the idea, and you need these tools if you were to describe the entire holiday schedule or something. You would need these tools to, because obviously different holidays happen at different times. So it's just, a useful tool in order to specify special events. This building, that doesn't really apply because there is no change day to day, really. So this schedule here could be tweaked. Could probably, but depending on when people get up, 5 a.m. is probably a little too early, maybe, to start the day, and 11 might be a little later, but if it needs to be changed, it's just done here.